In the spectacular Season 2 finale of Raised by Wolves, faith and science converge, and certain revelations are made. Mother Lamia, Amanda Cullen, goes hunting for the serpent, while grandmother, Selena Jones, helps father, Abu Baker Salam, with the children. It is revealed that Tempest's baby now has abnormal mutations due to her exposure to the sea creature. After what happened to Sue, Marcus Travis Fimmel finds a new purpose in pursuing vengeance against the entity. A new religion seems to emerge in the atheist community. Here is everything you need to know about the ending of the Raised by Wolves Season 2 finale. Raised by Wolves is going to go down as one of the most emphatic sci-fi narratives about motherhood. Given Ridley Scott produces the show and is known for playing with these themes, it's not a huge surprise, but delivered in a television format it does feel quite unique. This show is very unique and has been from the start, with Season 2 having some of the weirdest effects and story turns yet. In Episode 8, titled Happiness, the weirdness will soon transfer to its lead character. This episode opens with Campion, Winta McGrath, taking down his robot friend's final thoughts before she dies. Using a bit of cloth, he copies it down seemingly with blood. Talk about biblical allusions. Since Campion is a possible foretold prophet, this turn of events could mean big implications, especially since he's been pro-robot for the entire season. Mother, Amanda Cullen, continues the trend of showing how maternal figures in this show sacrifice everything for the kids. In this case, she takes on the veil of an ancient robot known as Grandmother, Selena Jones. Mother and Marcus, Travis Fimmel, made the assumption the veil would allow Mother to use her necromancer powers to kill a giant flying snake that aims to kill humanity, and, specifically, Campion. In an incredibly well-shot scene with beautiful cinematography, we see Mother take the snake into space just outside the planet, let it suckle from her, and then kill it. Consider for a moment that the snake is not only her child, but was boosted in power after eating a tree Sue, Niam Algar, turned into. One can assume there's a metaphor, symbolism, or some deeper meaning to these events. The show is filled with mysteries and symbology, and there hasn't been a show like it since Lost. Thankfully, there are a few more answers in this episode of Raised by Wolves, which is great since a lack of answers can kill a show like this. One involves the tree Sue turned into, and it's nice to know most of the characters are on the same page as far as the effects of artifacts on the planet. What this tree means for the mysterious entity that keeps telling people what to do is starting to become clearer as well. For a show about incomprehensible alien technology, even sci-fi buffs who have read and seen it all have to admit this show has a very unique look and ideas. The theme of humans messing with the technology they can't comprehend is certainly not known, especially in the Alien franchise. The difference here, though, is that the threats have yet to attack directly, but instead manipulated people to do what they want. The greater mystery of who these creatures are, or even what they are, is yet to be revealed. The concept of robots using a veil to limit their emotions is also explored, adding to the themes around parenting. When grandmother gets her veil removed, she's immediately overwhelmed, for instance, and later reflects on how hard it is to parent without emotions. Mother, meanwhile, hides with the veil and becomes more authoritarian. Special effects are inconsistent in the episode, unfortunately. Hologram effects remain highly advanced, but a few shots of the serpent look particularly unrealistic when matched against backgrounds. The space shots look great, however, but these inconsistencies become more obvious when occurring in the same episode. There's also a scene where grandmother shows the children a game, and it doesn't make much sense how it even works. Raised by Wolves S2E8 Happiness is a real trip, and quite possibly the strongest episode of the season. It not only shifts power dynamics, a favorite feature of the show, but gives viewers new insight, features some resolution, and will most definitely make viewers utter, "What the hell?" on its final shot. Raised by Wolves mixes the strange and the inventive in a blend of sci-fi originality. Is Marcus dead? Why does he float upside down? After what happens to Marcus at the end of the episode, one thing is for certain. He isn't anymore what he used to be. Mother rips the serpent's brain out through its eye, killing it. Shortly after, the Sioux tree re-emerges from its corpse. Sue believed that the EMF surrounding the settlement prevented the signal from getting through to the collective members. As Paul goes through her research, he deduces that the tree was the entity's way to circumvent the effects of the EMF. This means that the source of the signal is somewhere underground. When he tells Marcus this, the latter decides to go down into the pit by which Vril massacred the Mithraics. However, as he prepares to do so, someone shoots him. Later, Marcus wakes up to find himself being crucified upside down on the Sioux tree by Lucius. The latter now hears the signal. Lucius was one of Marcus's most devoted followers before becoming his primary detractor among the Mithraics. As always, the signal takes advantage of human emotions and turns them into a weapon for itself. It convinces Lucius that he is its true prophet and Marcus is evil, and instructs him to place Marcus in his current predicament. Marcus tries to make Lucius see that the entity is evil, but the latter refuses to listen. Lucius then puts the Punisher mask over Marcus's face and waits for him to die, while he carves out a Mithraic dagger from one of the teeth of the dead serpent. When he goes back to the tree and removes the mask, Marcus appears to be dead. Lucius turns away to take a swig from the drink he has brought, and suddenly realizes that something has happened. He discovers that Marcus is floating, just as Lucius crucified him upside down and hands stretched. According to Christian tradition, Saint Peter was crucified upside down in Rome during the reign of Emperor Nero. The similarity is most likely non-accidental. In Raised by Wolves, characters have come to regard the source of the signal as a malevolent entity. And a religion seems to be emerging around Mother after her victory over the serpent. As the snow starts to fall on the settlement, a little girl gives Nerva a medallion of Mother in exchange for a coat. She is depicted with her hands stretched, like when she is in flight. This is probably a reference to the Christian Messiah. It's possible that the narrative of Raised by Wolves is a reimagining of how Christianity replaced the ancient Roman religion as the prevalent faith of the empire in a science fiction setting. If we believe Lucius's conclusion that Marcus is dead when he checks him, then this scene can be contextualized as a moment of miracle. Of course, there will probably be a scientific explanation for this in the future, as it is with everything in Raised by Wolves. A more disturbing possibility is that Marcus died and turned into a vessel for the entity. After all, Lucius follows the exact instructions of the mysterious being. If that is indeed the case, then the collective will soon face existential danger, especially with Mother being trapped in the simulation. Who is Grandmother? What does she want? The Grandmother is an ancient android that has been on Kepler 22b since the time of the previous human civilization. The Season 2 finale implies that she might be the reason why humanity devolved on the planet. Since she has been reactivated, she keeps repeating that ensuring the everlasting life of humanity is her priority. However, she believes humans can achieve that only when their humanity and sentience are taken away. Grandmother seems to be using her holograms to devolve the 6 main children and turn them into a sea creature. When Mother realizes this, she is encased by Grandmother's veil. Later, Grandmother places Lamia into simulation so that the latter will be out of her way as she implements her schemes. The sudden drop in temperature is also probably Grandmother's doing. She wants people inside their units so they will play the holograms. This is the end of Season 2. Will you like this or not? What do you think? Will there be a Season 3? Share your thoughts in the comment box.